The rise and fall of MKO Abiola, the man who won but never ruled Nigeria. On June 12, 1993, Nigerians went to the polls and did something they had never done before. They voted across tribe, across religion, across region, and gave one man an overwhelming mandate to lead their nation. That man was Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola. He won, everybody knew it, the world knew it. But he never stepped foot in Aso Rock as president. Instead, 5 years later, he was dead, in detention, on the same day he was finally supposed to be set free. Today we are going to tell you the full story of MKO Abiola, the man Nigeria chose, the system that crushed him, and the mystery that surrounds his death till this day. Because what happened to Abiola is not just history, it is a warning about power in Nigeria that every single one of us needs to understand. Moshood Abiola was not born into privilege. He was born on August 24, 1937, in Abeokuta, Ogun State, the 23rd child in a poor family. 23rd, let that sink in. There was no silver spoon, no godfather, no inherited wealth. What Abiola had was something rarer in Nigeria, a burning, relentless hunger to become something. He excelled in school from a young age, winning scholarships that took him all the way to the University of Glasgow in Scotland, where he studied accounting. He came back to Nigeria not with just a certificate, but with a vision. He joined ITT Corporation, an American telecommunications company, and within years he had risen to become the vice chairman for Africa and the Middle East. He was not just working for a multinational. He was negotiating deals, building relationships, and accumulating wealth that would make him one of the richest men on the African continent. By the 1980s, Abiola had built a business empire that stretched across telecommunications, media, oil, and agriculture. He owned newspapers. He owned radio stations. His company, Concord Press, became one of the most powerful media houses in Nigeria. But money was never enough for Abiola. He wanted to serve, he wanted to lead, and Nigeria was about to give him that chance. General Ibrahim Babangida had been ruling Nigeria since 1985. After years of military dictatorship, Nigerians were desperate for democracy. Babangida promised a transition. He set up political parties. He organized primaries. And on June 12, 1993, Nigeria held what international observers called the freest and fairest election in the country's entire history. Abiola ran under the Social Democratic Party against Bashir Tofa of the National Republican Convention. What happened next was extraordinary. Abiola won the North. A Yoruba man won in the heart of the Muslim North. He won across ethnic lines, across religious divides. Nigerians, tired, hungry for change, had spoken with one voice. But Babangida was watching, and Babangida did not like what he saw. On June 23, 1993, just 11 days after the election, the military government annulled the results. No reason that made sense, no credible explanation, just a brutal, sudden cancellation of the will of millions of Nigerians. The country erupted, protests, riots, international condemnation. Nigeria was on fire. Babangida, unable to hold on, stepped aside, but handed power not to Abiola, not to democracy, but to Ernest Shonkan, a transitional figure who lasted only 83 days before Sani Abacha seized power in November 1993. The trap had been set, and Abiola was walking straight into it. For months, Abiola refused to surrender his mandate. He campaigned, he spoke, he demanded what the people had given him. Then on June 11, 1994, exactly 1 year after his historic election victory, Abiola stood in Epetido, Lagos, and declared himself president of Nigeria. It was one of the bravest and most dangerous things any Nigerian politician had ever done. Abacha's response was immediate and ruthless. 2 weeks later, Abiola was arrested and charged with treason for claiming a victory that was rightfully his. He was thrown into detention, where he would spend the next 4 years. His wife, Kudirat Abiola, took up the fight. She became the face of the pro-democracy movement, traveling, speaking, demanding her husband's release. In 1996, she was shot dead on the streets of Lagos, assassinated in broad daylight. Abiola lost his wife. He lost his freedom. But according to those who visited him in detention, he never lost his belief that justice would come. Sani Abacha died suddenly in June 1998. Nigeria breathed again. The new military leader, Abdulsalam Abubakar, began a transition to democracy and announced that political prisoners would be released. Abiola's release was finally arranged. On July 7, 1998, a delegation that included American diplomats came to meet with him in detention to discuss the final terms of his freedom. During that meeting, Abiola collapsed. He was rushed to the hospital. Within hours, he was dead. The official story was heart failure, but Nigerians asked questions that have never been fully answered. Why did he collapse on the exact day of his release? Why were foreign diplomats present at that precise moment? Why was an independent autopsy never conducted transparently? The Nigerian government said natural causes. Many Nigerians said murder. The truth, to this day, has never been officially established. MKO Abiola died at 60 years old. He never saw a So-Rock as president. He never took his oath. He never got to serve the people who had given everything to vote for him. In 2018, 25 years after that stolen election, the Nigerian government finally declared June 12 as Democracy Day and posthumously awarded Abiola the GCFR, the highest national honor. It was an acknowledgement, but for many Nigerians, it felt like too little, far too late. Here is what the story of MKO Abiola teaches us, and pay close attention because this is where history connects to today. Nigeria has a pattern, a dangerous, repeated pattern of silencing the voices that the people choose, of using detention, manipulation, and power to crush whoever threatens the establishment. Abiola was detained for claiming his democratic mandate, and today we are watching another man, Nnamdi Kanu, spend years in detention without conclusion, his supporters asking the same questions Nigerians asked in 1994. Will justice come? And if it comes, will it come too late? Nigeria has not changed as much as we like to believe. The system that swallowed Abiola is the same system that many Nigerians are still fighting today. The question is, are we paying attention this time? That is the full story of MKO Abiola, a man who rose from poverty to the peak of power, won the freest election in Nigerian history, and was detained, and silenced. If this video opened your eyes, share it, because this is the kind of history every Nigerian deserves to know. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe Abiola was murdered? And who do you think was truly responsible for what happened to him? Subscribe to this channel if you want more deep political stories like this. We are just getting started.